Hi there, I'm Dustin Clark, and I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about hyperpartisanship in our politics and culture. If you've never heard the term partisanship, then it isn't necessarily a terrible thing on its face, but understand that it can quickly become problematic if one isn't mindful of and makes some attempt at mitigating it. To give some context, Merriam-Webster defines partisanship as a firm adherent to a party, faction, cause, or person, especially one exhibiting blind, prejudice, and unreasoning allegiance, where hyperpartisanship is a sharply polarized situation in which political parties are in fierce disagreement with one another. That's where I'm here to focus on, the prejudice, unreasoning allegiance, and sharply polarized aspect. This idea that we're separated into two distinct camps, and us and a them, where we have little in common and many differences. This isn't necessarily the case. Most of the time we can find more in our common citizen than we will find that's different. If we look, of course. But it's in our nature to suss out the differences, not the similarities. If we agree on something, then it's understood. Further discussion may not be necessary, but if we don't, then a more thorough examination seems sensible. So it's fair to an extent that we focus on our differences, and so it is very difficult to completely drop the us and them thinking. Humans by nature are very tribal beings. But we need to challenge this aspect of our thinking, frame the conversation from what we can agree on, to establish a common reference. I'm confident this would result in a more productive situation. So often political rhetoric exploits these differences in opinion for political gain. And too often, political gain results in real social and economic pain. Elections do not adequately reflect the electorate's true beliefs and priorities. First past the post in Canada concentrates far too much power at the hands of the Prime Minister and the Premier, respectively. A majority government is essentially an elected dictatorship. All parties are guilty to some extent, and no one can say they haven't played along in some capacity. But that's politics, right? Well, what if there was another way? One that empowers the people to communicate their priorities. Like, what if we had a questionnaire of some sorts? An opinion-based census, so we can reach some kind of consensus. One where we as individuals rate our priorities on various policies. So a government can't simply make the statement, we have a mandate, and then treat it as a blank check to push their agenda on us. Too often, politicians use majorities to cook up all sorts of nonsense. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a confused Canadian. Thanks for listening. I'm Dustin Clark.